youtube.com/MayhewMayhem. That's youtube.com/MayhewMayhem.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host, my name is Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg. Also joining us tonight is Mike's younger brother who just loves to just jack off buff dudes.
Hey guys, it's James, and with me is this googly-eyed fuck.
Googly-eyed? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this is Scott Holmes, the younger brother of Greg.
Do you also like to jerk off buff dudes like my younger brother? That seems to be the theme of tonight.
Unfair.
30 Minutes of Mayhem is available on YouTube, iTunes, Android, Stitcher, and Spreaker. All you have to do is search MayhewMayhem. That's MayhewMayhem. And make sure to rate us 5 stars.
Make sure it's 5 stars. Also, you can help us afford to continue doing the show by donating to 30 Minutes of Mayhem via PayPal. Just use the email address in the description, 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com.
Thank Christ to be back. But if you're like, I think everybody in this, you may or may not have an issue with Christ. But this is episode 51. We have returned from our hiatus, and if you're listening to this in the future and you go from 50 to 51, you don't realize there's a hiatus, but there has been a hiatus. And if you go from episode 50 to episode 51, you will realize that the lineup is a little bit different. I'll get to that in a second. So welcome to 30 Minutes of Mayhem, the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. And Greg, why is it the podcast your mother can be ashamed of?
It's the podcast your mother can be ashamed of because your mom likes,
That is correct. That is exactly why it is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. So if you've listened to episode 50, you will remember that we may or may not have been into a very terrible situation by having Nick on as a guest. Well, that resulted in an investigation, and which is why Dale's not on here anymore, and it almost, might have something to do with don't ask, don't tell. You don't ask, and I'm not going to tell you, because that may result in Greg and I having to, go away for a while because of the case. And, well, anyways, I can't give you any more details. So let's just get right into this shit. August of 2008. You know what happened in August 2008?
I turned 19.
Okay, you turned 19 in August of 2008. Scott, do you have a guess to what happened in August of 2008?
I don't know if I actually met you then.
No, you hadn't. James, do you have any guesses of what happened August 2008?
No clue, not a clue at all.
August of 2008 was the last time that I got my dick sucked.
Oh.
I just want everyone to know that.
That sucks, man. I mean, of course, I have you all beat. I've never had it sucked. Of course, neither has Scott, but I mean...
Yeah.
My argument to that is, because you've never had it, you don't know what you're missing.
Ah, that's true.
That there is the reason why this is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. So tell me, if you're getting hit on by a girl, and right before you're about to have sex, like you have sealed the deal, you were home, and you're taking them clothes off, you're stripping them down, and she has a dong bigger than yours, what do you do, Greg?
Yeah. Oh, I would probably say...
Bend over, I'm still fucking you in the ass?
It depends on how drunk I am.
Would you give her a reach around?
Probably, if she asked. No, but in all seriousness, well, actually... who knows if I'm being serious or not? Oh, but no. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably either... That's a tough one. I mean, if she's got, like, a hot enough face, like, I mean, I guess I could ignore the fact that she has, like, a schlong, but I mean,
So she's got a hot face, a nice ass, a nice pair of tits, but she's got a dick.
Fuck it, I'd still hit that.
So, I'm gonna call you Tig from now on. Me, personally, if I got to this situation, I would be ashamed of myself for not figuring this out beforehand. And I gotta say, nothing wrong with anyone that's like that. I have no issues. My thing is, you gotta kind of let a brother know. I want to know way before I get to the point to where I'm taking your pants off and then your dick's bigger than mine. Granted, that's not hard to do because I have a tiny penis. But the point being, you gotta kind of let me know before we get there, right? I don't want to. I don't want to find out when I'm about to bury my face in your crotch, and then all of a sudden I'm getting slapped in the face by a dick. I don't want it to get that far. But if I got to that point, and that happens, I'm gonna cause a scene because I'm gonna be pissed, and I would be leaving. I'm not saying that there would be any physical harm done to her, but that's a possibility. And let's be honest, we all know what Dale would do in this situation, so it's probably a good thing that he's not on here to tell us in great detail what he would do in this situation.
What would I do in that situation? I guess it'd have to depend on what state of mind I'm in. I might, like Mike, freak out. I might even cause harm because that's just rude. You can't just not tell somebody. It's like attempted murder whenever you have AIDS and you don't tell that person and you have sex with them or something. It's the same thing. You can't have a dick and not tell me. Because then you might die. Like, I could kill you. Some people freak out because of that. But I'd probably try to let it down as easy as I could and walk away, but I don't think that'd be possible. I'd probably make a big scene.
James brings up a good point here. Do you think if you killed someone in that situation, if you were the person that was shocked by the situation of the female turns out to actually be a guy, has a dick, and out of a fit of rage you kill them, do you feel like in court you could make that justified?
No, not particularly. I mean, especially, it's actually getting harder to justify that in court.
Because like the crime of passion type of thing is what I'm thinking about here, but it's not like you're in a relationship with them or married to them, so it's not really a crime of passion defense. But it's the fact that it gets to that point. Is it just straight murder? Is there no legitimate defense when that situation takes place? Is there any justified defense to that by basically them duping you into it? James used the analogy of, like, you know, you got AIDS and you're fucking people and you know you got AIDS and you're not telling them you have AIDS. That's fucked up.
There's actually a distinct difference, though, between not telling somebody you have AIDS and sleeping with them. Because, I mean, that's a fucking nasty-ass deadly disease with, like, no known cure. If you're with somebody and it turns out that they're transgender, and when you get to the bedroom, then that's completely different, because, I mean, that doesn't really affect you personally in any way. I mean, if you slept with somebody and they were like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm HIV positive, and you flipped out and you killed them, then that has kind of a more strong backing if you like went to court. Like, if you said that they had failed to tell you that they had this horrible, debilitating STD that with no known cure, and they didn't tell you beforehand, and you slept with them, and in a fit of rage you accidentally killed them. That's one thing, but if you're like...
The pillow talk afterwards, as we were smoking a cigarette, she looked over and she was like, oh, by the way, I have AIDS. And so I killed that bitch.
If you killed somebody because, like, you were about to have sex with this chick, and it turns out that that she was a dude and like she still has the male genitalia, then... and you killed them, then that comes off less as you killed them in a crime of passion, something like that, and more just you're kind of a raging asshole who murdered somebody just because they weren't what you wanted them to be.
Nowadays, a lot of people could portray it as a
would it be categorized as a hate crime?
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
No way out of it.
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to get at.
I believe absolutely that it would be a hate crime if you're actually killing someone, because that, I guess you would really say that it is a hate crime because they duped you into that situation. I feel like there's some lawyers that would take it on and maybe get you somewhere with it, but we've got one thing to clear up here. Scott, you fucking the transgender or what?
For one thing, I've always been uncomfortable with these types of hypotheticals.
You want me to change it around for you a little bit?
Well, actually, I'm interested as to what that would be, so yes.
Okay, so say you're not related to Greg. He puts on a wig. He comes into your room right now. You think he's hot, and then he pulls out his dick and slaps you in the face with it. What do you do then?
Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
I mean, he always threatens to punch me in the taint whenever I do something he doesn't like. So I mean,
If
I
you
did
if you
something
got your
like that,
cock and balls out right there and he's already down there, he's got the perfect positioning to punch you in the taint.
yeah. So
Well,
he's
we're
probably
talking
all
about transgenders, not Greg in a wig. Let me get to my point. I'm conservative, so I would just wait to have sex until marriage. So if they were coming on to me, I would just back them off. I would just say no. So yeah, I'm sorry for being the lamest of the group here, but
No, I applaud
Well,
and
it's like,
respect your choice to wait until marriage because I wanted to do that and wasn't mentally powerful enough to do so. And I've been in a lot of fucked up situations since then, so I'm wondering between you and I who made the better choice. And because of some of the stories I have, I'm going to say I did because I learned a lot of fucked up things. Tell me, what do you do? Christmas just happened a little while back. You're snooping for your Christmas presents, and you find that one of your parents is in possession of child pornography. What do you do? Do you turn them into the police? Do you pretend you never seen it? Do you confront them? How do you deal with that situation?
I would turn him in. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, and here's how I'm just gonna say it right now. First of all, I would completely lose any and all respect or admiration or dare I say it, possibly even love I would have for said parent, and I would turn them in because I honestly believe people who are child molesters or who look at, distribute, collect, whatever, child pornography are, you know what, I wouldn't even give them the dignity of calling them human beings. They're
Scum.
scum.
Exactly.
So I
So
would just turn them in. No
you don't
second thoughts about it.
you don't give a shit, mom or dad. You don't care. There, you find that you confirm that it's mom or dad's or both scum of the earth.
Yeah, they're not being set up like this isn't like some sort of prank or like
Right,
some
where
assholes trying like they legitimately looked for it and found it themselves and they were hoarding it. I would turn them in.
do you discuss it with them? Do you say like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Or do you just go fucking police? I'm not even going to talk to them.
I would go to them first. I would
of course,
confront them first about it, and then
yeah. But
after
then there's the danger of them like trying to kill you or something like that.
Trying to kill you, or they could try to destroy the evidence before you turn them in.
oh, that's true. You know what? No, I would just go straight to the police. I
Scott.
would probably have to do it anonymously though.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want the head, you don't want Ryan to read from the headline, "Son turns parents in for child pornography." Scott, what do you think? What do you do?
Another hypothetical.
They're all
And
hypotheticals.
Scott, a lot of these are going to be hypothetical. You're just going to have to deal with it.
yeah, and okay, so if I was born as someone else, and my parents were something different, because
Well, yeah, that's how
Which is
hypothetical stuff usually goes.
I was about to burn them the same way too.
hey,
I
you
could
know
change.
what?
Okay, since you guys share the same parents, let me change it for you. What if Greg is the one? You guys are still brothers in this hypothetical. What if Greg is the one that finds the child pornography and he tells you about it? What do you tell him to do, or what do you think he should do?
Would probably suggest to Greg that we contact the police, but I would be more forgiving.
You wouldn't cut them out like Greg is saying he was doing that he would do.
I wouldn't call myself what's the word, a mensch, but and I'm not trying to like make myself look super modest or super humble or whatever, but we should forgive and forget.
Even
At least
something,
that's for what I try to live by.
even something that extreme. That's like the extreme of the extreme. Like that's the farthest I think extreme.
There are other extremes too. I mean, murder is an extreme as well. Human trafficking
Yeah,
is
I
an
murder,
extreme.
but
Go ahead,
murder
Greg.
can be justified. I mean, if you murder somebody to defend yourself
But what
or a
about
member
human
of your
trafficking?
family or something, then that can be defended. Child pornography, like owning it, making it, looking
Jerking
at
off
it,
to it.
whatever, You cannot excuse
I mean, I might
that. There
no
is
no
no
no.
excuse that.
Here's my position. I'm not a Christian, but I like the idea of hate the sin, love the sinner type thing. You know, that's what I try to live by.
I normally would try to live
I
by that too, but something like that where you just
no, you see, that's
ruin
the
the
problem
life
with
of a
the world.
child.
Well,
So
yes. We're
that's just not forgivable in my opinion. I just couldn't bring myself. Maybe that just makes you a better man than me, but I just could not bring myself
well, no,
to
that's the
forgive
see, that's the
somebody.
thing. It's not the fact that
Right.
it makes you a lesser man. It's just that you have to push yourself to that level. I don't want to say like my level. Oh, I'm higher than
Get
you.
on my
No,
level, bitch. Yeah, we see what you're
no.
trying to say. James, jump in here. What do you think?
I think personally sometimes it could be a disease, like the person couldn't help it, or sometimes maybe not. I would find it and I would start asking questions first before I went to the police.
In this hypothetical
ahead.
that we're running, we have confirmed that it is theirs. What do you do now?
Demand they get help, necessarily push to call the authorities. I definitely wouldn't have much respect for the person. I mean, for my parent after that. I don't know. I feel like I couldn't turn my parent into the police for anything really.
Yeah, that's
But
what.
given the crime, it is tough to deal with.
I'm with Greg here. 100% the same thing. Scum of the earth. I don't think it gets any lower than that. Given the hypothetical that we're running, it is confirmed that it's theirs. I don't care, mother or father. Scum of the earth, police, straight up, over with. I would not view them as a family member anymore. That's through the whole family. Everyone's gonna fucking know when that takes place. When the police get involved, everyone's gonna fucking know. I have to distance myself from that because I don't want to be involved with someone scum of the earth. We keep saying scum, whatever, a piece of shit of that level. I do not want involved with in any way, shape, or form, and I don't feel like there are any humans worse than those who were pedophiles.
Yeah.
Let me give you a follow-up. Does your opinion differ if it's just one of your parents? For example, if it's your mother in possession of it, does your opinion change? Or if it's in your father in possession of it, just one of the two parents in possession of it, does your opinion
No,
change?
No.
my opinion stands.
Okay, Greg.
Like, no, it wouldn't matter who it was. I would still turn them in.
Okay, James.
My mother, I would demand she get help. I would probably turn her in, but not in a spiteful way. With my father, I'd probably burn him at a stake.
Burn him at a stake.
Yeah.
It
Or
wouldn't.
do to him what he did to them.
You gay boy, I'm gonna show you how you be gay. I'm gonna fuck you in your ass. But
Yeah.
so an eye for an eye, but a brown eye for a brown eye. Dale knows all about that. So my opinion does not change either
Somewhere
way.
right now, gagging on some kind of transvestite stripper.
My opinion does not change with either parent, mother or father. Doesn't matter. My result would be the same. Although, like Scott said, your mind would just be swimming with so much shit that initially you would not know how to react. You know that the right thing is at least Greg and I know that the right thing is turn 'em in. It's low of the low, lowest of the low. But at first, you're so fucking confused and you can't believe what you're finding. But once you get past that point, I feel like we'd all do the right thing. Now, James made a good point just a minute ago about burning his father at the stake or doing what he did to those. And I said, since he's fucking people in the ass, he's gonna fuck him in the ass. So, if you're having sex and you're just about to finish and your partner dies right before you're about to climax. I mean, you still got a couple more thrusts in there, but they just die, and you confirm that they are dead. Do you just go ahead and finish since you're almost there, or what do you do?
Would you get like death grip? I don't. That's one of those positions you'd have to be in.
Haha.
Would they
Riggers
defecate immediately all over you, or would you have the time to finish it? It all depends on what you're into, I guess.
Okay, so Riggers it doesn't set in immediately, so you're not gonna get like a death grip on your cock. But That's a good point, Greg. I feel like either you or Scott probably know this. When one dies, it's said that they empty all their bowels or whatever. Does that happen immediately? I mean, does it take
It
take a
usually
minute, or
depends.
does it kind of just happen right then and there? Your shit.
It usually depends. They've eaten anything recently, and B, if it depends how they died.
We're just
When
talking
you're
natural causes. Like you have in this scenario, you're fucking. So let's just say you have a heart attack.
Okay, if they have a heart attack, another thing is they shit themselves because the muscles in their body are relaxing. Because part of the reason why you don't just shit yourself automatically all the time is because your body is naturally contracting the muscles in your anus to keep you from,
So your anus is continuously clenching.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
you ever
much.
look at a dog's asshole? It's just like
That's basically how biology works. But when you
I gotta
die,
hang on. I gotta interrupt you just real quick. I'm so fucking happy to be back. Just what he just said right there, talking about your anus clenching all day long, and that's why you don't just shit yourself immediately all the time. It feels fucking great to be back. Welcome back to 30 Minutes of Mayhem. There's another reason why this is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of, and I hope she is. Go on.
I also am extremely happy to be back so we could talk about things like this in exquisite detail. When you die, okay, the electrical signals your brain sends to the other parts of your body stop being sent, and your body stops doing everything that it normally does. So obviously it would stop clenching and tensing up certain muscles in your body. I'm not entirely sure if that would happen right away. It would probably take a while.
Okay, so define a while. Minutes,
It would
hours?
probably be anywhere between
A
a few
few good
minutes
hours.
and a few hours. Yeah, I'm not
So
a
to answer James's question, since I know you're not a scientist and you're not an expert, but so to answer James's question is, you'd have long enough to finish, James.
oh,
Yeah.
well then that changes everything. Probably, and then immediately call the ambulance and tell them what happened, step for step.
Well, then you would be arrested because, or would you?
What?
Because you
I
are.
mean, you could say that you didn't realize that she was dead until you finished, and you were like, "How was it for you?" And then she's not breathing. You tried to
yeah.
perform CPR, and you called the ambulance, even though
Well, what
you.
if
Like I fucked her to death.
it was so good for her that it blew her mind or something like that?
Would you use that as your pickup line? Hey, baby, I fucked a girl to death once. Literally, she died. So you want to try to tame this dick? Do you use that as a pickup line after that
Yeah,
happens?
it's something you probably only tell your close friends.
Hey baby, what does my schlong and the Grim Reaper have in common? They both killed people.
And then you gotta do the classic. Hey, baby, how do you spell me? M-E. My dick has killed somebody before.
Best non sequitur ever.
Oh my god. So what do I do? What do I do in this situation? Anybody want to take a guess? Come on, it's me. Anyone want to take a guess? What
Oh
do I do?
boy, thousands of reasons come to mind. No, I don't know what.
Greg, you want to take a shot? What do I do in this situation? Not to make myself like Jesus. What would Jesus do? What would Michael do? Actually,
I would love to know what would Jesus do in this situation.
I was gonna say the exact same
Jesus
thing.
would bring her back to life. I'll raise you from the dead, my child. All right, now let's get back
exactly how
Or-
he brought her back to life.
Or Greg,
to it. Dick was so bomb, he raised the dead.
or Greg, does he finish so that he can cream pie her without her knowing and then bring her back to life? Hang on,
Baby, it was
wait,
like
whoa.
that before you died.
Maybe that is how Mary conceived.
Oh.
God fucked her to death, cream pied her, cleaned her out, brought her back to life. She don't know how she got pregnant. Is that too far?
We're so going to hell for making a God date raped Mary joke.
Again, Greg, I am so happy to be back. So happy. Now, okay, so let me answer this question before I literally get struck down while I'm talking, which wouldn't that be fucking great? No, it would suck ass. Now, I gotta say, if I realize that she croaks, like if I'm like pounding it out or whatever, and she just fucking falls over, and I'm like, "You all right? Hey, yo, what's it? Are you? Hello? Are you breathing?" If it was a situation like that, then I gotta say that I would probably freak out because unlike Scott, didn't save myself for marriage like I intended on, but I don't just go having one night stands. So the only people I'm putting my dick into are people that I cared about, at least at that point in time, and they all turn out to be crazy, and that's a whole different story entirely. You've heard some of them if you listen to some previous episodes. So I would care about the person that I'm fucking. So if I realize that I'm plowing them and they die, I realize that they die while I'm plowing them, then I would stop. I am CPR certified, although my certification's probably run up and I probably need to get recertified, but that's neither here nor there.
No, we're not talking about their heart stops temporarily. We're talking about they dead.
Well, I'm just saying I would, in that situation, I would probably try to perform CPR. You got to think about how you'd react if you knew that, like I said, you're getting it from the back, whatever, and all of a sudden they just fall over, and you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck? You realize they're not breathing. The first thing you're gonna do naturally, if you know how to do CPR, is you're going to try to perform CPR and follow the steps of CPR. But since you don't have anybody else to call, you'd probably be scrambling for your cell phone. You're making the call to 911 on speakerphone while you're trying to perform CPR. That's what I would do. Now, if I didn't realize that she died while fucking, then I'd finish because I wouldn't fucking know. And it doesn't take me very long to like finish from start to finish anyways. It's like a good maybe 30 seconds at max. I must have been pretty good if she died that quick. Somebody else jump in here. How do you handle the situation?
I would probably call an ambulance and like just be like, oh my god, this person I'm with just died. I need you to, or like, if they're not breathing.
When you're riding in the ambulance, do you brag to the EMTs or what? I fucked her to death. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd just be like, hey, I hit that so hard she broke, literally.
Her heart fucking stopped, son.
You know that saying, I'd hit that like the fist of an angry god? That's what happened.
If you're able to bring them back to life while you're doing it, is that like something new to try, like with every other partner? Yeah, let me try to kill you so like I can bring you back to life. It's the ultimate orgasm, I swear to God.
That's what Jesus said.
We have figured out.
Choke them out, and then I don't know. I guess that'd be like.
Yeah, I think Scott figured out what Jesus would do in this situation. Scott, what do you think? Do you think we're all pieces of shit? Scott's
No.
like, I know I've been on the show a couple times as a guest. I decided to join it as a host, and I fucked up.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're my pieces of shit. So
Aw.
I guess that makes me a piece of shit too.
Aww.
If it were my wife,
Yeah,
and she died,
it's a hypothetical.
if she died on me like right then and there, then I would probably be in shock. I probably first be freaking out, and then I would have to come to reason, and
By the time she's been dead for 5 minutes and brain dead, CPR doesn't work.
Yeah, just like call.
That brief pause there. Scott's like, Michael's such an asshole. Does everybody feel good about what we've done? If you don't feel good about what we've done, then that means we done it right. And that does it for another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I have been your host, and my name has been and will continue to be Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-host,
Greg,
James,
and Scott.
I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Remember, we are on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, all those places. You can find us there. You can also donate to us via PayPal, 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com. It feels so fucking good to be back. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and later, fellas.